Hello everyone, welcome. Today we'll look on how to deploy your Django project to AWS. So, without wasting any more time, let's dive right in. First, search for Elastic Beanstalk and create an application. An application is a container that can contain many environments, for example, production environment, development environment, etc. Now let's configure the environment. Select the web server environment. The worker environment is usually for running background tasks like Celery. Then fill in the application name and the environment name will be auto-filled. You may edit the environment name if required. If you leave the domain field blank, it will be auto-filled. Now select the platform, in our case it's Python. Set the branch to be 3.8 or 3.9 as per your requirement and leave the platform version to default. Here you can choose to upload your code or let the AWS add a sample application. We'll let AWS add a sample application and click on Next. You can leave all of these at default and skip this step. Now select the default VPC from the drop-down menu. And let's select any two subnets and check the activated under public IP address. Let's not enable the database in this step. Leave everything at default and click on Next. Here you have an option to select the volume type between magnetic, SSD, etc. You can leave these settings at default. Under Auto-Scaling Group, select Load Balanced instead of Single Instance, as this will also create the load balancer for us. Ensure that the load balancer is Application Load Balancer and check the dedicated radio button. We may now proceed to the next step. We don't have to change much here. If you want alerts from your environment, add your email address in the email field. Also ensure that the proxy server is Nginx. Here you can fill in your environment variables. These variables can be used by your application. Once that's done, proceed to next step. Here, review your configuration. Also ensure that the load balancer type is application. Once everything is done, you can then press Submit. It may take a few minutes to create the environment. Once done, you can click on the domain and check out the site. Congratulations, you have successfully deployed an application. Now this is the default site you get to see. We'll deploy our Django application in the coming steps. Before deploying our Django application, ensure you have installed EBCLI. Now search for IAM Manager from the search bar. We'll have to generate a token to deploy it from the CLI. Click on Users on the sidebar and select the user from the list. Then click on Create Access Key. Select CLI as the use case and click on Next. Click on Create Access Key, then copy the access key and secret key. This will be used when setting up EBCLI. Now open your terminal and CD into your project folder and then type in EB in it. And since I have multiple profiles, I'll be selecting one that's specific for me. If you are doing this for the first time, it may ask for the AWS key that you generated in the previous section. Now, as for the region, you need to select the region where the application resides. In our case, it was EU North 1. You can check your region by going over to the console and looking at the top right corner. We'll type in 18 and select the application, which is 1 in our case. As for code commit, we'll type in no. Now make sure to commit your code. Once that's done, type EB deploy to deploy your Django application. This will take some time. Once it's done, you can visit your AWS dashboard. I'll skip to the end. Now that's done, open your AWS dashboard and click on the link under the domain. You'll notice that it informs us that the domain is not added to the allowed hosts. This page shows up only if the debug is set to true, so during production, ensure you have it set to false. Copy the domain and add it to allowed host, and ensure you set debug to false. Commit your code, then redeploy your application using ebdeploy command. This will take some time, so I'll skip to the end. Now, you may encounter errors. If you do so, you may notice that the health has degraded or you are getting 500 error codes. So check your log files. This file contains all the logs. If you encounter any errors, you'll find it here and you can debug your application from there. Thank you, that's it for this video. Don't forget to grab your free copy of AWS slides from the link in the description. If you require any help, feel free to join our Discord community. Thank you and good luck.